Hi Year 3, I hope you're doing okay. I really enjoyed our lesson last week. It was really good to listen to some of the music from the soundtrack of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. I wonder if you ventured further into that soundtrack and had a listen to any of the other tracks from it, because it's all really good music. We thought about, didn't we, how that piece of music was played by an orchestra, and we thought about a conductor keeping the orchestra in time, and we talked about how the music is written on something called a score. Now, we've done a little bit of work on that, haven't we? We know where the notes sit on the line, tells us the pitch that we have to play. We know the type of note, like the crotchets and the minims and the semibreves and the quavers and the duration of those notes. And we know that all the different instruments have their own parts and they're all built up on a score. And we looked ourselves at something called a cymbal score. And do you remember, it was like a blank grid and then some pictures, and we made different sounds, didn't we? We went shoo, shoo, and we did. And we added our cymbal score to the soundtrack from the battle from The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. This time, we're going to create our own cymbal score. So we're going to become composers. We're going to compose our own cymbal score using our bodies to make the sounds. So last week, our cymbal score only had 4 boxes on it. So it kind of had 4 beats, and it was the same as having 4 beats in a bar, and we just repeated it. Do you remember that word, ostinato? We repeated it and kept going round and round. This time, we're going to have 2 bars on our cymbal score. So 2 lots of 4 beats. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we're going to use our cymbals slightly differently, but we're still going to compose a repeating pattern, an ostinato. So have a look at the blank cymbal score. There you go. It's got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over the top of it, as you can see, and all that space for us to imagine what we're going to put in those boxes, which sounds we want to put where. Now, the exciting thing about composing is that it's up to you. You can do it however you want to do it. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to demonstrate it using a few symbols that we could all put in ours if we wanted to. And at home, you will have that sheet as well. So you can use the same symbols that I'm using and the same sounds, or you can think of your own sounds. So it's quite exciting, really. You can create your own symbol for that and your own picture in the box, just to remind you what sound to make. So we'll go through it together. I'm going to show you how to structure your composition. And then you're going to have a go at doing it. And it would be great if you could film that, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. So let's look at our first symbol and our first sound and how we're going to use it. I thought we would repeat the shoo, shoo, shoo sound that we had last time when we did the battle. And I wondered where we should put it. So I think I'm going to put the shoo sound on the first beat of every bar. So have a look at the cymbal score. Can you see I've got the symbol of the hand in box number 1 both times. So if I was counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we would get shoo, 2, 3, 4, shoo, 2, 3, 4. There you go. So that's the start of our composition. That's the start of our cymbal score. The tricky thing about this is that really you need to do it in a group. So I'm going to find it a bit tricky doing it on my own, but I can do that on the video. I can make myself play those different parts, and I can film myself doing that and then bring it together. But you guys might be at home on your own. If you've got a brother or sister in your house, see if they want to get involved with you. Maybe your grown-up would get involved with you as well. Maybe you could even FaceTime someone. So you could FaceTime a friend or even 2 or even 3 friends and see if you can somehow work in a group. If you can't, it doesn't matter, because you can just write your score yourself and you can play each part individually. You just won't be able to hear what it sounds like all together. So that's a bit of a shame about it, but you can still do your composing. But if you can find a friend or someone in your house who will help you, it could be quite an exciting thing to do. So let's look back at our cymbal score. We've got the sh on beat 1 of both bars, and then we would just repeat that. We would just keep repeating that like an ostinato. Here's my next cymbal and my next sound. Have a look. Now, what do you think this is? It's a clap. So you can see that my cymbal is clapping hands, and that reminds me, now I need to clap. So I've got the arm doing that as my sh sound, and I've got the hands doing that as my clapping sound. What I've done is I've decided that I want to put the clap on beats 2 and 4 of every bar. If I was feeling like I wanted to make it a bit more complicated, and if you can work with a group, you can make it more complicated. Your first bar doesn't need to be exactly the same as the second bar. You can make it more complicated if you wanted to. Like I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just miss one out. I could miss that second 2 out, so that I've got those 2 bars that are repeating. The 2 lots of 4 that are going to repeat. But for this one, we're going on beat 2 and beat 4 of both bars. And it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's the clapping. Now, as we build it up, what we get is shoo, 3, 4, shoo, 3, 4. I can do those 2 parts together on my own at the minute just to show you, because neither of the sounds fall at the same time. But have a look at my next bit. There you go, look, can you see the whistle? Now I haven't got an actual whistle, but I thought I would do it with my mouth. So I've got my shh sound, I've got a clap sound, and now I've got. Now follow the line just of the whistle. If you just read that one line, just the whistle line, you can see that the whistle happens on beat 2 and 3 in both bars. So it sounds like this: 1, 4, 1, 4. Okay? Do you want to have a look at what it looks like all built up together? For me to be able to do this all together, I need to be able to stay in time. And on my phone, I have downloaded an app, and it's called a metronome. So a metronome is something that ticks and keeps us in time. If you are working with a group, you might need a metronome to make sure you stay at the same time. If you can do it together in the same place, that's fine, because somebody's just counting it. But if you've got to try and match them up, you might need a metronome. So I'm going to use my metronome on my phone, and what I've done is I've set it to 80. Have a listen to it. And that gives me the time signature. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to use that as I build up the sounds. So here we go. This is what it sounds like when you start adding all the pieces and layering them up, and how you structure your piece. Here we go. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shoo. 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 Okay, so that's what it sounds like as we start layering them up. Sounds quite good, doesn't it? And if you are able to do it with other people, then all you'd have to do is read one line each. But for me, I'm having to try and do all the lines to show you what it looks like. And if you were in school and we were doing this together, you'd be in a team. So we've just got to be flexible, haven't we? We've just got to make the best of it. Let's have a look at one last sound that I'm going to add in. The amount of sounds that you add is actually endless. Okay, you can just keep adding those in if you want to, but we've just got 4 this time. And if you only want to do 3, if there's only 3 people in your house, just do 3, that's absolutely fine. So have a look. This is the last sound that we're adding, and it is stamping feet. Now, because I'm sitting down, stamping isn't going to be very easy, so I'm going to make the sound on the table. Okay, I'm going to use my hands this time to do the stamp, but if I was standing up, I would be marching to make the stamping sound. You can see the picture of the feet, it reminds me to stamp, but you'll also notice that the stamping is in every box on the line. So basically, I'm going to stamp, or I'm going to tap the table instead of the stamp. I'm going to tap the table on 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a stamp on every single beat, and that will continue all the way through. And when I was thinking about the structure of my piece, I thought, I think I do want a rhythm that runs all the way through, that keeps everything going and keeps it steady all the way through. And then we can add and layer up the other sounds on top. Just like if we were creating a piece of orchestral music, we'd layer up the violins and we'd put the brass section on top, and we'd think about what the percussion we're going to do. We layer it up into all different lines of music. And that's the same as what we're doing with our cymbal score. So I wanted to have the stamp going all the way through. When you do yours, you might think, I'm going to do this all the way through. You can play around with this. It is completely up to you because you are the composer. So when you look at your sheet and you cut out all your symbols, or you even add your own, have a play with them. Put them in the different boxes, see what they sound like before you settle. I'm going to add in the stamping now, okay? And you can see it starting to build up, all right? Here we go. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shoo. 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 Can you hear the structure of my composition? We've done it together. When I show it all together, you can choose whichever one you want to join in with. Okay, so we're going to look at it one more time. I'll play the whole thing all together, and you pick a line that you're going to follow. Okay, so you can see the whole of the cymbal score. You choose which line. You might want to do the shh, shh. You might want to do that. You might want to do the clapping. You might want to do the whistling, but just follow one line and join in with me as we do it all together. Here we go. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shoo. 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 Well done, that was absolutely brilliant. And isn't it quite amazing how when you layer sounds, you can create your own piece of music just by using the sounds that you can make using your body. Now, at home you're going to have a go at doing this. Hopefully you've been able to download and print off the things that you need. So you should have a blank symbol score. You should have my symbols that I've used for you to cut out. Make sure you cut them into the little squares because you're going to stick them on in the right position. And then there's also a blank box of squares for you to draw your own symbol if you wanted to. Now, you can use things around the house if you wanted to. I've got a tin of paint here. Let me just get it. I've got a tin of paint. There it is. And what can I use? Okay. I'll get a spoon out of my drawer. I've got a spoon out of my drawer. I can actually decide, okay, I'm not going to do clapping. Instead, I'm going to hit the tin of paint with a spoon. Just to get a different sound, just for an effect. You can find anything in your house. There are so many things that you can use that make amazing sounds and amazing instruments. But don't forget, it's really important that it's clear on your symbol score. So on the blank symbol score, if I wanted to add my paint in, I think I might draw a tin of paint in the box. And every time the tin of paint needed to make a sound, you would see the picture of the paint pot. Does that make sense? So, the world is your oyster. That means the possibilities are endless. And we've got quite an exciting project, hopefully for next week or the week after. What I want you to do is film your composition. If you can't find people to play it with you all at the same time, or you can't work it out, don't worry. Just send a video from somebody's phone or from the iPad of your symbol score, video it, talk to us about it, tell us what you've done, and then play each line separately for us. And then that's your performance. Because that's a tricky thing as well. Really, if we were all together at school, we could show everybody our performances. And I tell you what, wouldn't it be nice to see everybody's faces? You will be public on YouTube, so you do need to make sure that your grown-up is okay with that. But what I'd like you to do is film your composition. If it's a few of you on a Zoom call, record the Zoom call and then send it over to me. If it's you and your family, do it on an iPad, send it over to me. Or do your bits separately and send it over to me. That's absolutely fine. But I know everybody would love to see each other's faces and it'd be really great. So I'm hoping that the next time I see you, it will be our performance and that we can actually perform our compositions to each other. And it'd be quite cool to be on YouTube, wouldn't it, as well? And then you can send that link to all your friends and family and show them what you've been up to. So when you've done that, when you've filmed it and made your video, get your grown-up to email it straight to me, and then I will make a film out of us all and we can have our own performance on YouTube. Okay, enjoy yourselves, be creative, see what you can come up with, call your friends, see what you can produce, and then when we watch each other's performances, we can celebrate with each other. It'd be so nice to see your faces. Okay. Have fun composing, and I'll see you soon.